Well, good day viewers. Today we have an 05 Super Duty. It's got a miss, as you can hear it. It has cylinder number 4 contribution balance, cylinder number 7, and a glow plug problem on number 6. Let's do a cylinder contribution test here. Now, I'll get set up. So here's the cylinder contribution test. You can see number 7 and number 4 are both weak. Now the question is it a mechanical problem with the engine or an injector problem? So we're going to bring it in and do a relative compression test. Well, now that it's warmed up, it seems to have improved on number 7. Still number 4 is weak, but that wouldn't be a mechanical problem with the engine if it fixed itself. Let's go ahead and do a relative compression test. So I know some of you are thinking that why not just use a scan tool to do a relative compression test? Well, the snap-on scan tool doesn't have this capability. If I was using Ford IDS, which I do have, but I don't have a current subscription for it, it would give me the option to do a relative compression test where it would disable the engine for 10 seconds of cranking and watch RPM fluctuations over that 10-second time period. So we're going to do it manually with a amp clamp, and to do that we need to be on the battery cable to the starter. So here is the big battery cable on the starter, circuit 2037. That's on the right hand battery, and I'm going to use this connector C1026 to supply power to the control side of the starter and leave the key off. Now I would normally go to the starter relay, but it's in the central junction box, which is underneath the right side of the dash. So this C1026 is pretty accessible. It's a one-wire connector, a round connector, I believe. Let's see what it looks like. Come on, you can do it. C1026, there it is there. So it's a single wire round connector, male and female. And let's go back. And see where it is. It's on the left-hand side of the, on the right-hand side of the inner fender skirt. There it is right there. Well, it's not labeled. That's interesting. That's it right there, that round connector. It's normally attached to the wiring harness just above the heater blower motor. So let's have a look on the vehicle. So this is the connector here. So if we disconnect this connector and put power to this wire, it runs down to the starter. That controls the starter, and it should crank. So I'm going to get set up to do that. So here's that one wire connector, as you can see. And if you take the lead that's going down to the starter and touch it to the positive battery post, if I could get it in there. Just listening to the cadence of the engine cranking, I don't think it's got a problem, but we're going to set up the graphing multimeter. So I've got the amp clamp, which has a resolution of 1 millivolt per amp, with a graphing multimeter set up at 500 millivolts, would be equivalent to 500 amps, on the battery cable going to the starter over 1 second. So I'm going to connect that control wire to the terminal on the battery and crank it. And then we're going to pause this and then replay it. Well, there's no missing humps or irregularities in any of those, so I think we have injector issues here, especially because when it first started up, it was worse on number 7, but then after it ran for a few minutes coming in the shop, it seemed to clean up somewhat. So we're going to call injectors on this thing. I don't think it has a mechanical issue with the engine, but given the 400,000+ kilometers on it, it probably needs other work inside the engine as well. So I decided to fire up my Think tool. I got a Think Tool Pro here, and ID'd the vehicle with that, and there's relative compression test. Relative compression test will be limited to 2 consecutive test runs, followed by at least 10 minutes for the starter to cool down. Apply the parking brake. No, we're not going to do that. Test will automatically continue until all the conditions are met. Set the ignition switch to on. It's on now. Fully depress the accelerator pedal to the wide open throttle. Ensure the battery has sufficient charge to perform the test. And I guess the battery voltage is too low, so it's not letting me do it, so I'm going to get a battery charger on it. So I got a fast charger on the battery, set at 80 amp boost. The battery voltage is still only 12.75. And if I try this test again, wide open throttle is met, but the battery voltage is too low, so it won't let it run. And of course it starts. Oh well. So I decided I'd try my Autel scanner. See if it'll do anything different. Read the VIN. This, of course, is the 6-liter engine. 2007. Why is it asking me that? It's a 2006, isn't it? Maybe it's different emissions. The other 2 scanners didn't ask me that. It's not fast. Diagnosis. Control unit. PCM. Active tests. This test is only really designed to pick one cylinder that's low compared to others. If it's got multiple cylinders, it's an issue. Variable geometry. Engine revolutions per minute. It's not there. The Autel scan tool didn't have that capability. Yeah, it's not in the test menu. Should be under active tests right here. Let's see if cylinder contribution and disable injectors. I don't even see a cylinder contribution test. Oh well. I think we're going to call injectors on this thing. It's now cylinder 4 and 7. I believe are on opposite sides of the engine, but I'll double check. A little bit rich. And here the exhaust. So we're going to have a look at this cylinder contribution test again. Number 4 is the worst, but number 7 was a problem when it was first started. interesting. When I kill number 4 injector, it sounds completely different. I re-enabled it, now I'm going to disable it. Actually, it's coming and going. Thing is overfueling. Well, number 4 is the worst one, but number 7 was bad when it was cold. So here's the cylinder layout. Number 7 is a passenger side rear, and number 4 is the second cylinder on the driver's side. So looks like they're doing a complete set of injectors. At least that would be my recommendation. It's got 420,000 kilometers on it. I don't know if it's chipped or tuned. I don't think so. But that's it for now. We'll discuss the repairs with the customer, and he's likely going to do these himself. I think just for comparison purposes, I'm going to try this smartphone-based Think Diag tool that I have. It basically uses the same interface as the Think tool does, as you can see. Basically the same one. Obviously it's got to be serial numbered to it. So we're going to set it up on this vehicle and compare the capabilities of this on my phone. I'm going to use a screen recording app on my phone. So the dongle just plugs into the OBD2 port, and when the tool connects it turns blue, but we won't be able to see that because I'll be recording the screen. Okay, so I think we got it recording now. There's the app's loaded screen. Key is on. It's connected. It should decode the VIN. It may ask me some questions about this. Oh, there's a software update. Okay, so I'll pick up when I get to the end of this. Okay, so we got the software updated. That took about 15 minutes. We could do a system scan. There's not many computers in this vehicle, so it'll be pretty quick. It just shows you what it's equipped with, what modules it has and doesn't have. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to system selection and PCM. And let's see if there's any fault codes. Reach continuous memory codes. Should be just a glow plug code and a P1000. And number 6 glow plug, P1000, number 6 glow plug. Okay, let's go back. Actuation tests. Let's see if this phone-based scan tool will give me the cylinder contribution. Injector disable, engine revolution. No, I don't see. Get the ability to disable injectors. This looks like the Autel software. Injection pressure regulation, control the RPM, cooling fans, geometry turbo. Let's try this. Disable the injector. I'm surprised that it doesn't have, well, it's basically, you can pull up a data stream with it. Unless it's in another test procedure. Let's go back a couple special functions maybe. Ah, yes, there we go. Power balance and relative compression. So let's do power balance. I gotta start this. Well, that's interesting. It's showing an increase in RPM when number 4 fires. Wonder if this switches to landscape. No, it doesn't. Let's clear it. Yeah, it's definitely number 4. Clear. Let's go back. Let's try a relative compression test. Let's see if this one will work. Key on. Basically all the conditions met. So key is on, that's okay. And it says gas pedal to the floor, okay. Battery has sufficient charge, not met. Now this doesn't give me battery voltage on here. And I have a fast charger connected to it and it's sitting at 13.5 volts, so I don't know why this test is not working, but regardless, it's not working. That's why we did the relative compression test with the amp clamp. That works. Anyways, I was just curious as to whether or not this would do it. I'm looking at the data stream. One thing I do like about the Think tool and most of the other scan tools now is they have a keyword search for data parameters. So you can search for anything with cylinder. So there's misfires on cylinders, cumulative misfire, or you could search for pressure, barometric pressure, brake pressure, exhaust back pressure, injection control pressure, and so on. So that's kind of a nice feature. Snap-on needs to add that to their capabilities in their scan tool. Wasn't bad when there was only 25, 30 data parameters, but now there's 400 and it's too time consuming to go through them all. So I was just curious as to whether or not this scan tool would do it, but this is pretty impressive for a phone-based scan tool. It basically has the same capabilities as the full-blown Think tool does. Actuation tests, fuel pump, injection pressure regulation, and so on. I wonder if we can do security. I don't know if this 350 has a PAT system or not. Well, that's it for now. I'm done playing with this thing. My eyes are burning. I got to do this outside. Thanks for watching.